Hey guys, Whitney here, and welcome to TEFLPros. In today's video, I sat down with one of our recent grads named Lauren. And Lauren's story, I think, is very relatable to many of you out there watching this video today. Lauren wanted to change her career path, start something new, travel overseas, but she was working a traditional 9-to-5 job. So sit back, relax, and enjoy hearing how Lauren balanced getting her TEFL along with a full-time career. Hey, Lauren.
Hi, Whitney.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Well, first off, I just want to congratulate you on completing the course. Great job.
Thank you.
And thanks for just taking a few minutes to chat with me about your experience. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for speaking with me.
Yeah, so maybe just to kick things off, could you share just where were you at prior to taking the course?
I was working a regular job, and I felt like at this point in my life that this was a good step for personal growth. I had wanted to teach English overseas when I graduated college, but I was not emotionally ready for that at that time. So a couple years down the line, I'm definitely feeling in a place where I can easily manage moving to another country and teaching English.
Yeah, no, it's a big step, right?
Yes.
That's great that you're like, I know that I'm ready now. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm guessing that once you came to that point and you're like, all right, I'm ready to take this step, that kicked off a process of trying to figure out how to get your training taken care of. So can you just maybe take me through that process?
Well, it started off with a simple Google search of what was required of teaching English, and it was highly recommended to take a TEFL course. And I was like, okay, so let's look into some TEFL courses. Let's see what ones are out there. And some of them were questionable. They said 120 hours. Some people in the review said that they finished it in 7 days. So I was like, that's not it. But TEFLPros really stood out, specifically with the portfolio that I would have at the end that I could show in interviews. That really sold me on this.
Oh, okay. That's great. And, as you were going through the program, Lauren, what was your experience like? I know you just mentioned the portfolio. You like that? What else?
I did. The portfolio was great. I really loved the class videos that we had of the teachers actually showing how the lesson plans would be applied to a real life classroom situation. It's one thing to write out a lesson plan and know how to do that. It's a different thing to see it actually happen in real time, like in a classroom.
Definitely. Yeah. So you felt like just that transition of, okay, I've done all the work to put all these pieces together on a piece of paper, but there's like a missing step. You need to actually see what it looks like translated into that classroom environment.
Yep, that really helps solidify the whole, like each module, like see how a speaking lesson is done, a listening lesson, a writing lesson. It really drove home the idea of how to create a lesson plan and how to teach it.
Good. I'm glad that was really helpful for you. Was there anything else about the course that, came in handy, or anything else you want to share?
I love the reminders at the end of each module to submit a question, because I always had a question at some point and either I would forget it because I forgot to write it down, but this just really sparked my memory to submit my question. So it was in time for either the Monday for the Monday deadline.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So for the coaching calls, the reminders to send in questions. Okay. Good. I'm glad that was helpful. You sent in some great questions as well.
Thank you. The answers really did help me understand further the lessons and the questions that I had. Some things just went right over my head, and having you talk us through it really was very helpful.
I'm glad to hear that. And one thing I liked about your questions, Lauren, was that you submitted questions about like a course material, about lesson planning, but you also submitted questions that were outside of that. Like you submitted more of a cultural question at one point on the course. And I love that because, those cultural elements play such a strong role in your experience as an EFL teacher. You have to be so aware of different elements in the classroom environment. So it's great when people are really thinking about all of that.
Yeah, that was just like, I was sitting there watching one of the classroom videos and it just came to me. I was like, oh, let me go to the submission page. I need to go submit this question before I forget it.
Yeah, that was awesome. It was about names, right? Like,
yes, it's like, what do students call you? Because like in America, it's like Mr. and Mrs. and then their last name. But I noticed in the videos, they were just being called by their first name. And I remember you were like, it's a cultural thing. It all depends on what you want to be called and how the culture is. So, because, some are obviously very different than America.
Yeah, I know. All of the videos are filmed in Thailand, and so Thai culture is very different from our American culture, and the names and how they call each other. It's very unique. So you're headed to Japan, right?
Yes, hopefully that's where I would love to teach. I've wanted to teach there for many years, especially after my classmate in college, she ended up teaching there.
Oh, cool. Yeah, so that you'll have your own unique cultural, learnings to go along with living in Japan. That's awesome.
I'm excited.
Yeah. We're excited for you. So Lauren, just any last words of advice? Like if someone is on the fence about whether or not to get TEFL certified or to move abroad and start teaching English, what would you tell them?
Get TEFL certified first and then move. It sets a great foundation for when you do get there, because I couldn't imagine being thrown into the deep end of teaching and not having any clue on classroom layout, classroom management, lesson planning. I would feel so lost. And this really makes me feel confident in my ability to just move there and start looking for jobs, and that I will actually find a job.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Well, hey, we wish you all the best. We're so excited to hear about your adventures in Japan. And thank you so much for hopping on this call today.
Oh, thank you so much for teaching me everything that I learned.
Oh,
I really appreciate it.
thank you, Lauren.